Hello, how's everybody? It's been a while since I posted something on YouTube, and today I have a good news. We're finally going back home. Stay with me, that's what we'll talk about. After 3.5 years, well, say between 3 and 3.5 years, finally we'll be able to go back to our condominium. I'm really concerned about the condo because the reason I bought a condo instead of a single home is when I leave, I lock the door and that's it. Security is taken care of, maintenance is taken care of, except for my unit, of course. So that was a good decision. Was it a good decision to buy? Well, if I knew that we were going to have a pandemic, it was not a good decision to buy at that time. Today, I'm looking at it and I say, gee, if I'm going home and I'm paying so much for the hotel, it probably would have paid for 3 years of my maintenance because the maintenance cost in my condominium is not that high. Real estate tax, of course, huge in terms of Philippine standard, but in terms of US standard is very small compared to what I pay for here in the US. The maintenance, well, there's no utility, no electric, no gas, no water, because I'm not there. Now, of course, I have to pay for the common area maintenance and real estate taxes, whether I'm there or not, I have to pay for that. Also the common area real estate taxes and insurance, but it's still small because the condo fee, which is the largest piece, is being covered by my leasing, or not leasing, but renting the parking lot or the parking spot at a certain rate. And that sort of covers my maintenance cost. Condominium fees, that is. So, in retrospect, now, I think it's still a very good decision, especially because it has appreciated so much. I was surprised during the pandemic that it jumped up, or not the pandemic, during the latter part of the pandemic, sometime last year. So today, I have to find out from my real estate agent what the value of the property is. Now, am I going to sell it? Maybe. But before I do that, since we bought the property, I only stayed there for about 1.5 months. That's it. Then 3.5 years, it's vacant. 3 years, it's vacant. And now we're going to be staying there for a few months. So now I'm going to find out, number one, what the condition of the property is. And I have some apprehension about that. And secondly, what the cost of living is today, especially if we have 3 months worth of experience. And I'll be glad to share that with you. Now, the reason I'm worried about the condition of the condominium unit is there were 2 events. One, I was contacted by the Condominium Management Association. They wanted access to my property because there was a water leak. Oh, water leak. So anyway, I contacted my caretaker. She opened the door for them, they looked at it, and it turned out that the water leak is not coming from our unit, but it's coming from upstairs unit. Anyway, they fixed that, but I still don't know because they haven't fixed my unit. And I don't know if after 3 years I could still ask them to fix it. I'm not sure that I will be too concerned about that because the guy who did the inspection said that the damage is very minor, maybe cosmetic, maybe just clean up work, and that's all I need to do, I hope. So we will see. So that's one apprehension I have. And the second one is, I was contacted again by the Condominium Management Association, and they said, hey, can we have access to your property? Why? Because the alarm is sounding off. The only alarm I know that's in the unit is a fire alarm. So, what is it? Either my unit is completely burned down, which I doubt because they would have contacted me again, because after I told them that my caretaker is now in Davao and cannot come to Manila to have access to the property. I never heard back from them. So maybe it's a false alarm, and all they did to do was to turn off the unit's alarm system, because I never heard back from them. If there was a real problem, I'm sure they would have contacted me, or if they somehow got a locksmith to open the door forcibly, they would have contacted me, but they should have, but they did not. So I assume that they took care of it. So those are the two things that worries me the most. And of course, well, there's a third thing, and that is how dirty the place is. Because I had a caretaker who used to go there twice a month to do the cleanup work, because it gets really dusty. But then since he went back to Davao and was not able to take care of that, the unit has been uncleaned for 2 years. 2 years. This pandemic really brought havoc to all our plans, everybody's plans anyway. So I'm worried about those things, and I'm looking forward to going back home. And hopefully we'll be able to spend some time to enjoy, to travel the island as I have planned originally. And hopefully the pandemic does not come back. I'm concerned about that too, because of what's happening in China. The high rate of infection going on in China may get transmitted back to the rest of the world. So I'm concerned about that. So we'll see. We'll see what happens. And I'll be going back next month, and I'll keep you updated when that happens. Now, what encouraged me to do that, in addition to those concerns that needed to be addressed, is the fact that I think everything is more or less back to normal. And I'm going to talk to you a little bit about the admission or entry requirement to the Philippines. As you have noticed, I stopped broadcasting this thing because they just keep on making so many changes. It drives me nuts, okay? But lately, things have stabilized a little bit. No more One Health Pass, but instead they now have so-called e-travel, which is basically giving them some basic information, not exactly related to COVID, although I think there's a touch of medical questionnaire there. But it's really more intended for immigration control, which is not bad, because if you think about it, it's good because it expedites your entry to the Philippines. Once you show the barcode or QR code, you're free to go. At least that's what I understand. We're going to see, and I'm going to tell you about that too. So now it's called, I think, iTravel, from EasyPass to something else, and now it's iTravel. And also, the second one is, and this does not apply to all, it used to be that when you arrive in the Philippines, they give you a customs declaration. Well, did you bring food, plants, or animal into the country and stuff like that. That is now automated too, and they call that iTravel. So you fill that out online, and that expedites your entry to the Philippines. Now, I believe that only applies to some terminals. We are going to be entering Terminal 3, and I believe that Terminal 3 might require that. But if that is not required in that terminal or in any specific terminal, then they will give you the old entry or declaration form. That's for the customs to see if you need to pay any taxes. So those are the two things. There's only one concern I have about those two things. The concept is good. I think that is an improvement. But the issue is, because I understand they're encouraging people to register while you are overseas or in the United States or overseas or Canada. And the reason is, when you arrive in the Philippines, you're not required to have this thing prepared. That means when you check in at the airport here overseas in the United States, you will not be asked for those compliance things. Instead, if you don't have those completed, you can complete them when you arrive in the Philippines, which is great. They should have done that before. A lot of problems before was because of compliance being required at the airport, and even people at the airport are so confused. Now, they don't have to worry about that. They will just check your documents, make sure you have your passport or visa or whatever, and that's it. That's great. Now, you arrive in the Philippines. If you're already registered while you're in the US, good for you, because then things will go fast. However, they said if you don't and you wait until you arrive in the Philippines, well, it may take you a long time. If you need help, the people who will be helping you, there may be a long queue, and you may have to wait for your turn. And also, the internet is very slow. In fact, I tried it here and I had some issues or some problem. The internet in the Philippines needs to be fixed. But the concept of having this whole thing automated, I think is a good one. It's a good one. It's an improvement over the way things are done in the past. Again, with the exception of internet access being very slow and all kinds of bugs coming up. So that is it. Now, with respect to COVID, we have no issues because we are fully vaccinated and we even have booster shots. Now, I understand that for foreigners who are not vaccinated, you could either, this is another good thing, well, in some ways good thing, you could either get your testing done overseas and they'll present the result of that test, or you can get yourself tested in the Philippines, and if you get tested positive, you quarantine, otherwise you go. The only concern I have with that is if people boarding are not tested, specifically I'm thinking about China, and you get on the plane with the same passengers who are infected with COVID, you may get contaminated or other people may get contaminated. So that could be a problem. So that is the drawback. This thing is really complicated and there is no easy solution. But I think some of the improvements that they put in the system now is good. It's good. So that is the reason why I decided it's time to go back home. Now, the other issue that I have that is not solved yet is the airfare. The airfare is still expensive, very expensive. If I did not have any concerns about the condominium, if everything was hunky-dory, my caretaker is still able to go there, clean up the place, I probably would not go back yet because of the airfare. But the airfare is double or twice at best. In some cases, it's triple or quadruple what you would normally pay during the non-pandemic days. But I decided to bite the bullet and go because I needed to fix and take care of those things. And again, hopefully there's nothing serious, and hopefully we'll be able to enjoy our time in the Philippines. Wish me luck, and I'll keep you updated. Thank you very much for watching. Make it a great day, and God bless. Oh, do subscribe to my channel, unless you have already done so. And do click the notification bell so you get notified of new postings. I don't post a whole lot nowadays, so you're not going to be bothered. But when I post something, you will get notified. Thanks again for watching. Make it a great day, and God bless.